Hello, welcome to the BIM Student. I'm your host Chetna Chauhan. From today, we are starting a technical series in this podcast. In this series, I'm going to talk to people who have introduced technologies that aid the process of BIM. Whether it's a BIM authoring tool for designers or a small plugin that takes care of a repetitive task, I will bring various technologies across the board and try to understand the vision, usability, and the value these tools are bringing to the process of digital transformation. Today, I'm talking to two amazing professionals, Hugh Seaton from Crosswalk by Construction Standard Institute of America and Cyril Verley, CEO and President at CDV Systems, and talk about Collectus. What is Collectus? Collectus is a set of BIM practice workflow solutions that synthesized model components, visibility settings, shared parameters, and Revit schedules. This platform is galvanized by the API called Crosswalk developed by CSI. This API helps in cross-referencing the standards and translations of classification schemas between versions, for example, MasterFormat, UniFormat, Omniclass. Sounds complicated? It wouldn't when you listen to these two. Welcome to the podcast, Cyril and Hugh. I'm so elated to have you guys. I've been looking forward to this episode for quite some time now. I'm happy you're here.
We're excited as well.
I know you guys, we've had several discussions in the past, but quickly, would you introduce yourself to our audience? We can start with Cyril.
Sure. My name is Cyril Verley. I'm an architect, a registered architect and founder of CDV Systems. We've been providing Revit services to the AEC and owners market since 2002. And we've got clients. We've trained thousands of architects, engineers, and owners. And we've worked on hundreds of millions of square foot of projects in Revit, both in Quebec as well, on projects around the world. And in my mind, we've got the best clients in the world. So, Hugh, I'll pass it to you.
So I'm Hugh Seaton. I'm the general manager of Crosswalk, which is an API that delivers the CSI standards, so MasterFormat, UniFormat, Omniclass, to software like Cyril's actually. So this all came together because Cyril had the immense wisdom to choose to do business with. I'm kidding, but we did an integration earlier in the year and we were super excited about what he does and what he provides, and really happy to support amazing people like what Cyril's building.
Oh yeah, great. And we are here to talk about the newest platform that you provide at CDV Systems, which is Collectus. I've seen a demo of it and I'm excited. I'm actually beyond excited to see the possibilities. I was told that Hugh was really helpful, Crosswalks was really helpful in building that technology. So what exactly it is and how has Crosswalk and Collectus been integrated? How are we providing our services through how are you guys providing your services through this platform?
So we are, as I mentioned earlier, we're an API that allows software to access MasterFormat, UniFormat, and Omniclass. And these are standards that are used throughout the construction industry. In the case of MasterFormat, it's how specifications and quantities are often communicated from the design team. In the case of UniFormat, it's often how you're estimating a construction job and maintaining the facility later. Omniclass tends to be what is used in BIM very often. And Omniclass, as the name would imply, actually has MasterFormat and UniFormat as inside of it as tables. So what we do is we allow software makers to not have to worry about these standards. They're on tap and easy API call away, so that when Cyril was looking at how to organize information and organize families, and he's going to get into the specifics more than me, Crosswalk was an obvious way to organize those and again kind of abstract away that problem so he can focus on more value-added things that his software does.
From our perspective, we've been building a Revit standard library for almost 18 years, working with firms like HUK, SOM, MBBJ, AECOM, and we've developed this set of best practice workflows and standards that we've now put into the cloud. And this delivery system is remarkable in terms of just managing this data, 32,000 components strong, full set of standards in the cloud, designed for architects, engineers, and specifically owners as well. And what's the connection that we have with Crosswalk was with our partnership with CSI, the structure of our entire database of, again, 32,000 components is based on master format. And our clients, from a designer's perspective, our users are using master format. They're comfortable using master format. It's a structure that they understand. And the difficulty is that when these models are transferred to the contractors or the owners, they want a different format, UniFormat, Omniclass. And when we discovered that CSI has this Crosswalk API, we thought this is a brilliant combination, because rather than try to translate these things by hand, converting a door in an 08 division to what the value is in Omniclass or UniFormat, this is literally a click of a button. And it reviews the entire database of the model and gathers all the components in the Collectus format, then reaches out to Crosswalk. Crosswalk determines the structure of that data and pushes back into Collectus a translation from master format right into Omniclass, right into UniFormat. It's a pretty remarkable connection, and it's incredibly fast. Literally 2 buttons. The first button, the data is updated. The second button, the data is pushed into the Revit model. It's quite excited about it.
And if I can just add on to that, the reason we use the term crosswalk, that's actually a term of art in the standards world when you have 2 standards that are near each other, that are adjacent. When you're going from one standard to another, so you see this in the ISO environment where they have a standard for everything. So essentially what Cyril is describing is what Crosswalk does as a product is help to go, when you've got a quantity or a specification or some set of data that's classified in master format, you can then pretty seamlessly reclassify it as UniFormat or Omniclass. So again, you're going across phases, and also the reality that Cyril pointed out before is a lot of people that have been in the industry a long time intuitively think in master format, so they're comfortable working there. But a lot of other folks doing different functions or that are, a little more in a BIM environment can often be interested in using Omniclass because they're just used to it. But the point is the software is able to parse it and manage across these different silos or these different classifications much more easily.
I want to ask a question to Cyril. Cyril, you said it's literally a click of button. So you mean that somebody who wants to use the plugin does not have to learn a full-blown Revit? They can just use a simple, they could click on the plugin and they can convert their data from one format to the other?
Correct. When someone uses Collectus and they load the Collectus components, there's a structure within those, a parameter structure within those components that are sensitive to the Crosswalk translation. So as long as those components are used, those components can then be, again, 2-click button does the conversion. Within Collectus, you also have the ability it has a full set of family templates if they want to create a new content, or they can just use what's in the library of again, 32,000 components sitting in the cloud.
Okay. It reminds me of a project that I had back in 2017. It was a factory built project. If we had something like this back then, I would have had at least 2 weekends off. So yeah,
it's more than that, but yes, that would be good.
I'm really excited that you guys have come up with such an amazing platform and integration. This is a question for both of you. Do you guys plan to take this technology beyond Revit?
From our perspective, we are Revit consultants. Our focus has always been Revit, and so as a Revit consultant, our plan is to just stay within that environment.
Okay.
And Crosswalk is actually not inherently a BIM or non-BIM technology. It works with everything from estimating software to obviously Revit plugins and Revit systems like what Collectus has built. So we are already outside of Revit. We're already a little bit more broad than that. We're an API that enables other people's software, whether it's in the Revit world or whether it's in Procore or something else.
Okay. So that means, let's say somebody is using Vectorworks for their BIM management or their BIM authoring, or somebody is using any other platform, they can request the API integration.
I hope they will. So yes, the answer is
they can. They will is.
that's right. Well, that's a little bit of my job, is to get out there and convince people that this is obviously the right way to kind of make one big part of the design and detailing process less painful, and that is to consume our API and make it just work seamlessly.
For those that are not using Revit, working with Hugh and his team was wonderful. I mean, they were very responsive in terms of the list of questions we had, the API structure that we had to, once we understood that structure, getting our program, our software to work and connect to it was very straightforward. And it was just a quick turnaround, understanding the links, understanding the various translations. It was a pretty seamless workflow. I mean, literally in a couple of weeks, it was done. It was a very fast turnaround.
We were lucky that you've got a fantastic team. So I think it worked well together.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think it's also like, you guys knew, I would say like CDV System had a vision for something. Hugh's team had the solution for the vision. So I think it's important for every party to be very articulate about what exactly they need. And then we can see something solid. We can see a good result. I mean, if somebody comes to me and say, we want to implement BIM, and they don't even know if it's a software or it's a process, yeah. So I think it's commendable that you guys have produced something so amazing. Just for my understanding and getting a little more deeper into the platform, from your perspective, Cyril, can you give me a use case of a project where somebody who's using a MasterFormat, how much time can they save when they are using Collectus, or how quick the process is?
Case in point, there was a client that wanted to translate a Revit model from MasterFormat to Omniclass, and it was over $100,000 to do the translation. They hired someone by hand to do it. It's pain and suffering, and without question, that translation will have errors. One of the spirit of Collectus is really from an owner's perspective. The intent of the components within the Collectus package are, we try to reduce the amount of modeling, and we want to dramatically increase the structure and the parameter integration across all trades. So the shared parameters across all trades are completely integrated. That is so rare in the industry when you have, architecture firm, engineering firm, structural firm, contractor, subcontractor. It's extremely rare that those parameter data structures are unified. In Collectus it is. And when that model is then sent to the owner, it's the owners we have in mind to ensure that they can have usable data. And the first thing they're going to ask is, we want to convert the master form to something we can use. Omniclass or UniFormat, how do we do that? And this does it. And that's from our perspective, that's the key, is that we're providing a data structure that can be used by the owners. But yet it's simplified and refined for the architects and engineers to model. I'm going to take a side note for a minute. When we look at certain BIM structures or BIM formats, and they'll say an LOD of 400, we don't go anywhere near that. When you're modeling nuts and bolts, you've completely dismantled or you've disabled the owner from using the models, because the owners don't want that. They want data. They want a simplified model with the data, and that's where we're coming from.
Oh yeah, and with growing modeling and growing data getting into our models, I mean, the other day I was talking to one of our another prospective guest, which is going to be in this podcast, that it's not the modeling that the client wants to pay for, it's the data they want to pay for. And I think architects can only do as much. Like, they are trained to think in a certain way, and that's why a lot of modeling comes out of architects' data. If we can solve this problem, which I've had in person, that I don't have to go to a PDF to see, masterclass format for example, door is so and so, and okay, so let's fill it up in the schedule. I mean, I don't even want to go there. That's
good. You don't want to go there.
Yes. So it is. I'm excited to use this technology. Let's jump into our next question, where I'm going to make you feel like you guys know nothing.
Okay.
So these questions are going to be very BIM and AEC oriented. So I'm hoping who can answer some of these. These are going to be 2 questions. So let's see. So the first question, which pipe fitting may not be used for a vertical drainage system? So you have 4 options: cross fitting, Y fitting, double Y fitting, double waist fitting. So
I'm an architect, I'm not an engineer.
yes, don't work with engineers.
Okay, a Y fitting. Double cross fitting.
I'll go with what he said.
I wouldn't.
There was no double cross fitting. There was a cross fitting, Y fitting, double Y fitting, and double waist fitting.
I think he meant double waist fitting because it sounds sturdy.
I go with his.
That's right.
You were actually correct if you didn't say double, because it's a cross fitting.
Okay.
Because it's a vertical drainage system.
Yeah.
But you cannot have a cross fitting.
One of my guys would absolutely know the answer to that question,
Yes,
but
exactly.
I don't.
Exactly. Next time, hey, can we get it's just like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Can we get a life limit?
This could be something that you might know. What ore is aluminum produced from?
Do we get a choice?
No.
No, bauxite.
Yes. Oh
Good
my
for you,
God.
Hugh. Good for you.
Okay. So yeah, definitely Hugh would have had a gift basket for this.
Cool. But Chetna, I can tell you that may be the only time in my life I've ever said that word. I feel like I've read it a bunch. Yeah. I feel like I've read it a bunch of times. So congratulations, you've opened up a new avenue in my life.
And are you gonna be like one of those people who discovers a new word and they want to use it in every sentence?
I think that's gonna happen. Absolutely. That looks like bauxite to me. That's like bauxite gray.
Amazing. Okay.
One thing that I do know is that the creation of aluminum is it's not sustainable at all. It's
like concrete. That's how I know it. I worked with somebody who created the electrodes, and it's very similar to concrete.
It's very taxing on the environment to create aluminum.
Not friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, mining in general is not, but yeah.
But the refining, the point is the process of making aluminum is really bad. It's worse than a lot of other metals.
Yeah.
So we are towards the last section. Whatever we haven't discussed till now, we can discuss now, which is a rose, a bud, and a thorn. And I want to know from each one of you, a rose, which is the advantage of today, a bud, which is hope for future or plan for future, and a thorn, which is like a challenge or even a side effect, if you would say, for using Collectus integrated with Crosswalks. I
think a rose is, and actually this would be where you're going to back up and add a lot more to what I'm saying, but what Collectus has done is to continue to automate things that are repetitive, make things faster and smoother, so that BIM detailers and designers are able to spend more time on the harder stuff and less on what amounts to digital paperwork. So I think that's a rose. A bud is to continue to develop that. I think we're looking at some features and some services that we can deliver through the API that are a little bit down the road that can add some value. It's a bit early to get too detailed, but the point is the bud is to continue to automate things that are automatable, so people can focus their attention on what humans are good at, which is solving new problems instead of iterating the same thing over and over again. I think a thorn is a little bit of adoption, a little bit of learning curve. And I think that, especially related to some of the things that Cyril has said before about really connecting this to owners, probably the biggest challenge at the moment is using the model as thoroughly through the building process as possible. There are moments where it just goes away, or, people are afraid to share models, or there's a couple of issues about risk and standard of care and so on and so forth. So I think that the challenge is for us as an industry or a collection of industries to continue to get better about how to manage the model and how to manage the levels of detail across the phases.
Here. That's great. I think that the rose is this idea that the weight of managing standards, especially with a firm that does full AEC or full architecture and engineering, can be removed. That there's the effort in just managing a library and converting a library to a new version of Revit is a daunting task. And here, this is what we're sort of providing in the background on top of this package. I think the bud is this package is constantly growing with not so much the modeling of it, but the parameter structure. Bringing on, let's say we build a VAV box for train, but we want to add one for carrier, or we want to add, and that's just going to be a constant growth in terms of the program itself. And I think that the thorn is, and I agree with you, Hugh, I think from an owner's perspective, the task of moving to BIM is a daunting task. And people also, owners, and we hear owners say, we want BIM, but they don't know what that means. And within Collectus, let's say an owner hypothetically was to get Collectus, that standard is available to any one of their architecture firms or AE firms at no additional cost. They can build the models, which are then brought to the owners, which are then now useful for them as a format.
For me, the amount of man hours saved and the pain saved that's the rose for me.
Right.
As a BIM consultant, I would really like to just put things on automate and go to bed. And when I wake up in the morning, it's done. I really want to do that. There are a few plugins who do that, some of that stuff for me. So the bud is that I would really want to see Crosswalk integrated into API for other programs, and even like construction management programs and other BIM authoring tools. That is a bud for me, because I also feel, to be very honest, Revit is not a solution for every BIM authoring process. I mean, if something so useful can be customized to Revit, I'm sure it should be to other platforms too. Thorn, what I feel is that technology comes with a cost, and it is only as much a client can pay for. So who absorbs what cost is really a challenge. Do consultants absorb it? Do they absorb it together? Not only just one platform, but every platform has that thorn that it comes with a cost. Who's going to absorb it?
Right.
Yeah, but and I totally see the value. I would say it's an investment. Not everybody sees this as an investment.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't you think that the cost is more, people are absolutely dwarf any technology cost? Just one salary is more than almost any software.
Yeah.
Having to hire new kinds of people on the owner side to know what BIM is and be efficient at it and be useful, instead of wasting your time with models and images that you don't know anything to do with. I think that's got to be a big barrier, is they don't even know how to hire well.
Yeah, it's also mindset change. I mean, I've dealt with a number of clients, and I know how some of my clients feel is that, oh, if I hire somebody, they would not just do this, but they'll do other tasks. So that's a conversation I'm telling you I've had with a lot of my clients when I'm suggesting them a technology that this will make your life easy. And also cost of training is like, there is a new technology that comes in. And that's why I asked that question, that how easy it is to use. Do we need additional training for it? So for example, I suggested a client the other day a specific plugin for something that they do. Their whole staff needs training for that, which is additional cost. So more user-friendly this technology is, it's better for everybody.
Yeah, we provide training. When it's made, we provide training. There's also, all the components are fully documented. Not only the list of components, but the workflows on how to use them is all fully documented, all sitting in the cloud. So
great. And with no additional cost.
Correct. That's correct.
That's amazing.
I wanted to mention one other thing that Collectus does. If a model gets built with Collectus, there's a feature within Collectus that audits the model, and it will search the entire model. It literally takes minutes, and any component that's not Collectus compliant, whether it's a regular Revit family like a door or a window, or a system family like a wall or a piece of piping or plumbing, or an annotation family like a title block or a tag, it will flag it in the model. And if you want to see where it is, you'll click Show Me in BIM, and it'll show it to you in that spot. And then you can delete it or replace it with something that is Collectus compliant. And then you can run Crosswalk, and everything updates. So that feature is remarkable, again, within the program. Just to audit the model. Again, from an owner's perspective, it provides a mechanism for them to check the models, them to make sure that you're not getting some kind of component from BIM City that doesn't have the parameter structure that they're looking for, when they want to bring their models to FM and GIS. That's what we're trying to do, is bring these models, make them useful for the owners, but make it easy to use for the architects and engineers too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And contractors.
Definitely. I think one of these days I'm gonna have, especially you, Cyril, come and demo the technology on my YouTube channel. Let's do a YouTube live. Let's demo this technology. I am so excited what future holds for us.
And I'd love to show you Crosswalk. It's the slickest thing, and it is
slick. I saw it. It is slick, and I'm just planning to get my hands on it soon. Yep. Okay, but thank you so much, guys. I've had one of the most insightful and fun interactions I've ever had with the two of you. This one episode is not enough. I'm going to bring you back once I've tried this to have more questions about the technology. In fact, maybe with a non-Revit user or a non-Revit vendor to bring in and ask them that, this is how we use it. Can we integrate this? This is great. I'm just being too hopeful here right now.
That sounds
wonderful.
great.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Jitan. Thank you.